Hey folks, it's your pal Mike Shea from SlyFlourish.com here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy DM Prep. This is a weekly show shot Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. In this case, I am running a homebrew adventure set in Eberron called the Second Mourning. This show is brought to you by the followers of, or the patrons of Sly Flourish at patreon.com/SlyFlourish. If you help support Sly Flourish on Patreon, you get access to a monthly exclusive newsletter. You also get access to a exclusive adventure called Regnum Ratus, the Rats in the Cellar. And you also get access to a personal Discord server, a personal Discord channel for backers, for the Sly Flourish patrons. And patron supporters help pay for all of the infrastructure that it takes to keep shows like this going, to keep the website going, other odds and ends. Today I had to pay for a bunch of domain name registration, so it helps pay for stuff like that. Newsletters, all sorts of things, little odds and ends that sit behind the Sly Flourish empire. So yes, what other news? Oh, a Kickstarter is going. So myself and James Intercasso and Scott Gray are running a Kickstarter for a book called Fantastic Lairs. Fantastic Lairs is a book of 20 boss battles and climactic encounters for your 5th edition D&D game. They go across the full range of levels, from a first level battle against a shadow-touched cockatrice to 20th level, in which you battle a demon-touched ancient gold dragon. So the campaign has 10 days left as of this recording. It has crossed over many stretch goals. We went from 10 layers to 20 layers. We are including an art book, both a PDF art book and a print-on-demand art book for those who back at the print-on-demand tier. And we are including a whole bunch of adventure outlines from a whole bunch of different community folks. So we have a bunch of writers in the community, in the D&D community, that are going to be writing sort of adventure introductions to the layers. The idea behind this is these are going to be like 1-page or 2-page descriptions and like loose adventure outlines that you can use and fill out that will take you through to the layer. Sometimes we think they might connect. We're still figuring all of that out, like exactly what they're going to look like, but they might connect multiple layers. They also will connect. They will certainly connect to at least one layer, maybe multiple layers. We expect, I think, maybe to go as many as 10 of those. And that will be a PDF product available to all backers. So lots of great stuff. $15 for the PDF tier, which gets you, I think it's going to be like 4 different PDFs. The main book, which looks to be pretty big and beefy with full color art and full color maps. The adventure outline book, which is going to have probably the 10 adventure outlines. The art book, which will have all of the art and maps in full page spreads so that you can show it to your players. And a monster appendix that will have the full stat blocks for all of the modified monsters in the book. So anytime we mention, I think not even the modified, I have all the monsters in the book. So if we have monsters that are in the lair, their stat block will be in there, including modified versions of the ones that we standardize and modified. So that's going to be a good size monster appendix too. So all backers get all of that. The print backer, the digital backers get all of that in PDF. The print-on-demand backers get all of the digital stuff in PDF, plus the ability to order any of the books that they want in any of the versions of print-on-demand that we offer, which includes soft cover and hardcover for the main book, soft cover for the art book, and I don't think we're going to have print-on-demand versions for the monster appendix and for the adventure outlines. So anyway, that's going on right now. 10 days left in the Kickstarter as of this recording. So if you're seeing this, you probably want to go over there and take a look at it. And it's going to be a good deal. So check that out. All right. That's enough of that. Very exciting, though. I was just working on this, let's see, yesterday and the day before. I'm working on a lich layer, really cool lich layer. And I play tested the were-rat layer. So that was fun. Lots of interesting things to do. A 10-day left, Snark Knight says. Indeed. So in our last session, what happened? Boy, I've run and played so many games. So, D&D Live has been going on for the last 4 days. I guess it's kind of still, happening. I don't know if there's any more official shows, but I know that the D&D Live D&D games themselves are still going on. And the cool bit of that is they're like 90-minute games, and I signed up for 4 of them. I was very lucky. We found out that they were being run by my friend Eric Menge, and I was able to sign up for 4 days playing at his table. And he's an awesome DM. He's an awesome dude in general. He wrote the Moonshade. He was a Moonshade guide. I think he's the he is the adventure coordinator for, and the lead coordinator for the Moonshay adventures that Baldwin Games is doing. Fantastic dude, super knowledgeable about Forgotten Realms. That's his shtick, and just dives deep into the story, and was great fun. And the dirty trick on that, RSR70 says, how's Notion going? We're going to talk all about Notion. So the funny thing was, when I went to the D&D Live, this might anger some people. I'm going to say something. Prepare for a hot take. When I went to the D&D Live thing, they talked about the platforms that people use to play the game. And I've had so much fun running D&D over straight Discord. And not only did I not want to go through the hassle of figuring out Discord or Zoom with Roll20, but I didn't want to go through the hassle of other people having to go through that too. Because it's a lot of things to fail, right? Like, let's assume you've got 5 players and 1 DM. All of them need to have Roll20 up and running. All of them need to have, Discord up and running, video, audio's got to work, all this stuff. And I was like, that's just a lot of points of failure in a 90-minute game. And, it'd be a real shame there's people, and I don't know if it happened or not. Maybe everybody was totally smooth. And it tells you up front what you're going to have to use. But I said, you know what? I'm going to pick the game that's just Discord. And I went down the list, and there was like this one that's like Discord Nitro. And I said, just Discord Nitro. I'm going to pick that one, because I know that you can play D&D with just Discord. And I know that means they'll probably be running Theater of the Mind. And I'm happier running Theater of the Mind, particularly in organized play games, because it takes a lot of time to set up maps and minis and stuff like that. And it probably takes a lot of time to set up maps and minis in Roll20. So sure enough, and then I found out it was my friend Eric, who I talked to about Theater of the Mind stuff. We talked about combat, and I know he's a Theater of the Mind guy. So I fell into it, and I'm like, and the players were all great, and it just, everybody was into it, and it was really, really fun. So I really felt like that was one of those like sort of game selectors where I'm sure people would look at it and say, I don't want to play a game that doesn't have tactical combat. And then other people are like, I'm perfectly happy playing a game that doesn't have tactical combat. And I fell into I'm good with the non-tactical combat. And I think, I probably had a better time for it, right? Because I didn't have to monkey around with this stuff. So it worked really well. He's not your problem says, even solo Discord with experienced users that can still be audio-ish. Yes. Discord, right? That's like, you have a lot of problems. I mean, just, the technology's not bad. And frankly, now having run, I don't know, dozens and dozens of Discord games, and we had problems earlier. It took a little bit for the players to kind of get everything sort of straightened out and know how to troubleshoot it all on their end. And now we're at the point where we do. So the number of times we have audio problems is pretty rare. Every so often there's like internet issues and stuff like that. And then you go through the steps like reboot your router and reboot your Wi-Fi and do all the stuff. And then, or switch to your phone if you need to, right? Go to LTE and switch to your phone and do that. And that's worked for the most part. Like, we've had a couple people that drop connections, but for the most part, we've been able to stay pretty good. So yeah, right. Wexweird says, I have Discord for my games and one player always has trouble. Yeah, and that's tricky. And I think like you can almost do like a swimming buddy, where it's like, one of the other players, we DMs have a lot of trouble. So if you have like one player who's technically adept, you say, can you work with them on trying to help getting them set up? And then that kind of, it's sort of like asking people to do initiative, right? Yeah, and it can be tricky. The thing that I found, I've got players that have trouble with it, and the one that I found was like getting them up and running on their phone, and then just letting them do pen and paper with a phone has worked pretty well. And the only time they even need to look at it is if you're like showing an image or a map or something like that, and then you got to kind of remind them because everyone else is staring at it and would see it, but others would not. So I need to pull up one of my players. One of my players wrote out notes. It was so awesome. I think I put him in the notes. Hang on. Let me look. So if I go to old adventures and I go, last week was the 10th? No. 14th? 14th sounds right. Sunday Eberron. And I think at the bottom of these notes, look at that. Game notes. This is written by Jay, who plays Shane Husk. Shane picked up the Black Orb. They dealt with the Lamia. She got away, I think. I'm pretty sure she wasn't killed. We noticed a group of Jaguars and Valentine heading their way. They ran away. They blew up a thing. They had to kind of get past the golem. They lost their amulet. But then they managed to get out of the forbidden vaults of Tower 6. Hi, Mom. Sorry, I just saw your chat there. Hello. So they just got out of Tower 6. the forbidden vaults of Tower 6 of Morgrave University. They have the Tome of Kol Sir in hand. And they also picked up this orb, this strange orb, known as Lack, L-H-A-A-K. And Lack is they don't know what it is, but they know it's powerful. So far, it appears to be a crystal ball that has powers like True Sight. It can give the characters True Sight. And when they showed the orb to Leto Skal showed up, and Leto Skal said, "I want my book." Rumor is that there was that you are now in possession of the Tome of Kol Sir, and I want it. And they said, "Yeah, we got a lot of things. We also got this." And he pulled out the orb, and Leto freaks out and like backs away, and he's like, "You took that out of the vault?" And then he left. He just picked up his stuff and left, and everyone's like, "Holy cow! We just scared the hell out of Leto Skal with this thing. Like, what is this?" Right? They don't even know what it is. And then they showed it to another. They showed it to Triss, who is the right hand of Cavella, leader of the Dask, the monster criminal organization. And she didn't know what it was, but she's like, if that scared Leto Skal, then you probably want to show that to Cavella. And she set up a meeting with Cavella. And I think they're right about to head down to talk to Cavella in the safe room about the orb Lack. And I think that's where we're going to start the game this session. So yeah, they have this super powerful sentient. So what is Lack? Lack is a sentient crystal ball. It actually came from Dalcor. Dalcor. Dalcor is the dream world, the dreamscape. These should be secrets and clues. So that I think that I'm just checking over the notes. Triss returns. Shame revealed the orbs to Triss. That can be used as we had Skal. Yeah, and I think where they are beginning is heading down to the safe room to talk to Cavella about the orb. And that's going to be very interesting. So first thing we need to do. So this is all everybody asks. Hey, what are you doing this in? This is in Notion. If you want to learn more, there will be notes in the show notes about Notion. I'm soon to have a. Hey, thank you. Oh, I got a subscription. Thank you for that. Thank you for subscribing. So, if you want to learn all about Notion, take a look at some of the previous episodes of this. I'm not going to get too big into it. Notion is a both web-based and client-based, sort of like a wiki. You can think of it kind of like a wiki that you can use. But it's I found it to be a useful and powerful way to handle campaign notes. I did find one critical problem with it, though. And the critical problem is you have to be online in order for it to work. Even though you would think that you could download like a local database and that it would have it locally, you don't. And that's a problem. So if you got disconnected, you would lose your notes. And that's not great. So that is one major problem with it. I think like OneNote and everything will work both online and off, and this one only works online, even with a local client. And I think that's a real problem. So please, keep that in mind. And hopefully that's something. I mean, I think it's been a problem for as long as they've had it. So the fact that they have not put that in play yet does not bode well. So the first thing I do is I'm going to duplicate my session planning template, and I'm going to stick it all the way at the top, and then we're going to rename it. And we're calling this 21 June 2020. This is Sunday. Whoop, what happened? Why did it freeze? What just happened? See, weird stuff, man. Because it's online. 21 June 2020. Sunday, Eberron. So those are my notes. Then the first step we do. So I designed this node and this page to operate as, this is weird. So I guess it's fine. It's funny that it has the return thing. I think because I dragged the thing over. So, because normally this would be a picture from Eberron. So I organized this to walk through the 8 steps of return. So all of the 8 steps are noted here in this sheet. And step 1 is review the characters. So we go back here and we're going to go to our Sunday characters. The Sunday characters is actually a view of the campaign database that contains the characters in it. But it's a good way for us to look at each of the characters. One of the nice things about Notion is you can put a nice icon for everybody and then I can take a look at them. So we have Zarentir. Zarentir is a Tempest Cleric, Storm Sorcerer, Mark of the Storm, who is a member of House Larandir. Stole his father's airship, wrecked it, and now he has the key to steal it again, or another airship called the Goldbright. So I have a feeling that that's going to come up pretty soon. I think we're going to have an airship chase coming up pretty soon, and the Goldbright is going to be their way of getting the airship. Banner is a Warforged Paladin of the Becoming God. He is hoping to help build the Becoming God with other members called the Godforged. He had a previous history with the Lord of Blades, and so on and so forth. I don't know what major. I think he's going to have a lot of big plot hooks that will come up once the characters leave Sharn, which I think is going to be in the next few weeks. We're going to talk about that today. Saber is a long-tooth shifter monk and bounty hunter called to the Temple of Balinor and the Fallen. Belongs to the Order of Four Winds, a small group of shifter monks from the Eldine Reaches. Monk Order wants him to fulfill part of a draconic prophecy. I think a fun bit here might be if his monks kind of say, like, hey, here's a way to enter a, sort of a mental dreamscape with us so that you can always sort of come back to the monastery in sort of a spiritual form. I think that might be kind of a neat thing for him. Shift is one of the original Warforged built by House Kenneth, secretly powered by necrotic energy from the kingdom of Karnath, and has a connection to Lady Elmaro, and I believe that Shift has a sort of constructed brother named Lord Crash, who is ruling the Emerald Claw here in Sharn. So that could come up too. Shane Husk is a writer. He wrote all about the Last War and the Mourning, a popular writer who is trying to work on his next book, and it gets recognized in lots of places that he goes to. And Chi is a House Civis dragon-marked, latent dragon-marked, has a key, has a dodecahedron around her neck that supposedly is a key to help find Claw Rift. Claw Rift is the tower where the weapon of the Mourning may have been built. So she believes that she has the key and that lots of people are interested in that, including Leto Scala is interested in it, and the Emerald Claw is interested in it. So, and the Emerald Claw broke into her father's grave and took her father's bones. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So those are the characters in our show today. One bit is that I think it is it is Shane Husk. Shane Husk has picked up Lack. So one thing we can do here is we can so you can hyperlink to any other page by doing the @ symbol. This is something I didn't know when I first started this, but see how I'll do it again just so you can see how cool it is. So when I say picked up Lack, I can do @LHAAK, and it searches through for Lack and says, is it this page? And you say, yeah. And now it's linked to that page. So now if I click this, I get to Lack, which is the whole information about the orb. This is all in Notion. Notion.so is the URL for it. So it's a handy way to sort of build a quick, you can sort of interconnect all of your notes. So those are the characters. And now we go back, we go to the 21st, and I go, bink, I have reviewed the characters. So now we have our strong start. So I think the strong start is going to be meeting with Cavella. I don't think this group, So I think like spies are watching, these are Jackalware. Jackalware spies are watching the Cafe Obscura. So that's probably one start. And then we're going to jump right into Cavella. And the orb tries to take control. And I think that I think this is going to be, I kind of want to get right into it because I think this is going to be really exciting. This is sort of like the Palantir from Lord of the Rings, right? Like it takes you over like it took over Pippin, right? So, spies outside. I just like doing the linking. It's actually almost as easy as typing it out. Spies outside Cafe Obscura that work for Valentine. Cavella. I got a link for Cavella. Oh, come on. Where's the page for Cavella? There it is. Cavella, I think I spelled it wrong. Wants to silence the orb. And the struggle for control. So what's going to happen here? What's going to happen is that they want to meet with Cavella, and Cavella is afraid of the orb. She's as afraid of this orb as Leto Skal is, because it reveals everything. And she'll tell them, like, we can't talk about it while it's here. Throw it into your bag of holding. Like, get it in your bag of holding right now. And he's going to have it, and he's going to try to put it in, and the orb is going to try to take control of him and be like, no, you're not. Let me show you what she is. And then the orb is going to show her that she's this like monstrous, creature. And she's going to see that it's got control, and she's going to call her ogres and say, knock his ass out, and tell the group, like, don't stop us from doing this. We got to knock, it's the orb now has control, and we got to stop him. And they're going to beat him senseless and then try to get the orb out of his hands and put it in the bag. So there could be this struggle for control where the orb is trying to show him, like, let me show you these monsters you're dealing with here. And there's going to be like, this potential huge battle with Cavella right there. Cavella herself being an Oni. So they're going to see that she's an Oni, and that means she's an Oni, and she's the sister of Leto Skal. That means Leto Skal's an Oni. And that is interesting, right? So there's all these like things that are going to get sort of revealed there. So that's going to be a really fun scene. And then I think the next scene is going to be, it's going to be all action packed. I think we're going to let's quit screwing around, and it's going to be pretty action packed. So next is going to be, Valentine, makes a play for the book. And this is a big play. It's actually not Valentine that's making the play for the book. It's Leto Skal. Like, Leto's saying, what is going on here? Uh-oh. Leto makes a play for the book. So Valentine Trueheart, his right hand, is going to lead an attack against the Cafe Obscura in order to acquire the book. She's going to offer one last chance, right, to take it. And if they don't, then war is coming right then to Cafe Obscura. And Leto is using all of his stuff to do this. This is enough scenes, I'm pretty sure. Because I think the secrets and clues are going to lead to the next couple of scenes. So we're just going to have 3 scenes, but they're big ones. So, hey, Evil John, apologize, I sent on an early morning donut run. Yeah, tragic. I had early morning bagels. We had them delivered. was really yummy. So secrets and clues. Boy, I've got a lot of secrets and clues. So one thing is like, I sort of want, there've been all this like Cold War nonsense going on in the background, right? You got Leto Skal doing stuff. Leto Skal hid the book away, but then is going to go pick it up again. You've got Cavella, she's working against Leto and what's going on there. And there's insanity there. You've got, the party's been out going and picking stuff up and bringing it back. You know, you got all that going on. And then, all of a sudden, like, it's getting tenser and tenser, and boom, it's just going to explode. And like, war in the streets. Leto Skal's going to try to get onto his ship, move the crystal onto ship, and fly away. You've got the Emerald Claw's going to start blowing things up, and they're basing it on information that Leto Skal gave them. And this is going to be their finale in Sharn is going to be huge, right? And it's all happening at once, and they've got to make choices like, you know, do we want to stop the Emerald Claw? We know the Emerald Claw is going to blow up Skyreach. And they were given a weapon by Leto Skal to do it. We can either stop him from doing it, or we can try to catch Leto Skal before he leaves, right? Like, that's going to be interesting stuff. So, but that's a later secret and clue. So we're not going to have any trouble with secrets and clues today. So Lack is from Dalcor. It is, and it follows the Dreaming Dark. So it is an item that has come from the dream world. And is it could be 100,000 years old, right? Could be very, very old. We have, what's another secret? Got lots of things going on. I'm going to do the secrets that are most likely. So we got sort of two halves of this game. For half one is talking to Cavella. Cavella is an Oni. I think I spelled Cavella wrong. Cavella is an Oni in service to the daughters Sorakel. Leto is also an Oni. Onis are not capitalized. So that's valuable information. Cavella, I swear I spelled Cavella wrong. So I wonder if I presume, let's go into my NPCs, review the NPCs, and I go to Cavella, and I spell her name correct. I presume all the links will still work because they're probably ID based. But I don't presume the names will change here. Let's reload that page. It did change the name. Do you see that? It changed the name. Wow. Right? Yeah, look. Wow. That's wild. Crazy stuff. Leto Skal is also known. Leto Skal's agents have gone dark. Have gone dark all at once, right? So multiple groups that have been spying on Leto Skal. We knew about the, we knew where where all of Valentine's jackal wares were hanging out, and they're gone. The place is deserted. We also know that Leto has recently hired. So Leto Skal recently hired. Has recently hired mercenaries of House Tarkanon. Very expensive and dangerous. Expensive, powerful, and dangerous. Leto Skull's planning to leave Sharn. So that is the sort of the first half when they have that conversation with Cavella, and we'll see how that goes. What else? So we need the second half. So then let's see. Leto, all this is about the escape. Leto Skull paid off the city watch to block off 6 blocks around the Cafe Obscura. So yeah, so they're making a play, right? And part of his play, like they're going to come back and they're going to get to the Cafe Obscura and it's going to be empty. Like the streets will be empty and like shutters will be closed. And they'll be like, what's going on here when they get back? Like, right? And if they meet any town guards, the guards are like, we were told to block this area off, you know? So, you know, I guess if you live there, you can go, but you know, that's all we're doing. So then they, you know, it's sort of like they you know, he has hired legal authority to block off the street so that his illegal group can attack. I think that will be wild and interesting. Leto Skull. So Leto Skull paid off the city watch. He's also planning to leave Sharn. Lord Crash planning to blow something up in Sharn. Something big. Another secret is that Leto is paying off. Leto Skull is paying off and feeding information to Lord Crash. What other is it, you know, the daughters. So this is probably, I'm going to stick this one up here. Because I think it's going to be something that Lack is probably going to reveal. The daughters. Do I have a thing for the daughters? I don't think I have them as a... I do. The daughters of Sora Kel have a massive equal in size to the Eberron that Leto has. So there we go. So those are my 10 secrets. So we have our secrets and clues. And so the main thing here is that, yeah, we're following along with these two to three-ish big scenes. Big scene number 1 is meeting Cavella and having the orb deal with, having the orb start commanding people. They can go fast or slow. I don't know what that's going to be like. They learn a bunch about Cavella. They learn about Leto Skull. They also learn that Leto Skull is moving quickly. So things are all coming to a head. And the 3 big scenes are like meeting with Cavella, face off against Valentine as she tries to acquire the Toma Colseer, and Leto Skull fleeing along with an attack on a location by Lord Crash and the members of the Emerald Claw that are left there. So that could be pretty cool. So now we have our locations. So for this, we have their hideout, which is the hub. That's where they have their safe house. Whoops. we'll do a safe house. Oh, come on. Where's characters? The safe house in the hub. Then the assault on the Cafe Obscura. On the Cafe Obscura. But for this, they might come out to the street. So I need a location for this street. And I have one in mind, which is we can go back and pull up our map for Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Waterdeep Dragon Heist. And we will go to Troll Skull Alley, and we're going to use the map for Troll Skull Alley. Look at that. So we view the player version. And we're going to use probably this map, probably that lower. Well, let's see. Where is the manor? Is that it on the corner? I guess that's it right there. So we're just going to grab this. So I'm going to open this in a new window. Can you open a new window? Let's open this in a new window. Open like a new tab. And we'll save this to the desktop. It's called 315245. And then we're going to our Notion. One thing I found about Notion, so we're going to go over here and we're going to go to locations. And we're going to call it go all the way to the bottom and create a new one. And this is Middle Dura City streets. It is a location, and we do /image. So one thing I found, you can copy and paste images in here, but if you try to copy and paste, I think it's doing some kind of high res it does some kind of high res non-lossless version, and you could use the alley encounter as well from a later chapter. Is there an alley? Yeah, that's not bad. Let's take a look. When is the alley? That would be probably is that in Dragon Season? Probably in Dragon Season. Actually, one cheap way you can do this is just, whoops. You can go through the image viewer here. That one's not bad. Yeah, I can open the image, a new tab. We'll grab this one too. Save image. So it's got some bits. I mean, you could say like maybe this is sort of the small floor plan for Cafe Obscura here. I think, and then that way, yeah, except it doesn't really fit the floor plan. So I don't know. We'll see. But in the meantime, I'll add that into the, and then we'll see how I feel. Yeah, Catalyst says, man, I love Dyson maps. I love Dyson maps too. At first I was kind of like, I really like the color maps, and I still like color maps, so they're great. But yeah, Dyson maps, like they're just so simple and straightforward and easy to drop in, and they're great for copying and pasting and using in Discord. So it works really well. So I dig it. I dig it a lot. Okay. So I got some Middle Dura City streets, and then we go back. Whoops. Go here, go to our notes, and we got locations and type Middle Dura City streets. Other locations. So, I mean, there's Leto Skal's vaults, right? The vaults of Leto Skal. I don't know if I still have his manor. I may have to. Oh, it was the Seven Spires, right? Is Seven Spires? I don't know if I have a thing for. No, I don't have Seven Spires in here yet. So in this case, we'll go to Dyson. Dyson's blog. We go to maps, all maps. 7 There's 7 spires. So we click this and we will click that and open up the big version. Here's a little trick for you. You want a Dyson trick, how to hack Dyson logos. And I talked to him on Twitter and asked if this was cool. And he's like, yeah, it's cool. W equals 2000 creates a 2000 pixel wide version of the image. So instead of the crazy ass 7000 pixel wide one, you can actually make a lower resolution one by putting W equals and then the width of the resolution you want. And that way it's not bigger than 5 megs. There we go. Cragmaw. By manipulating the URL, it's because whatever image editor he is using, whatever image hosting thing he's using is dynamically generating the URLs. He's using WordPress as the back, and WordPress will actually create thumbnails on the fly by manipulating the URL. So yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? The trick is, Garno wants to know the trick. If you go to any Dyson logo map and view the full map, so I'm going to do both. So here's Cragmaw. I will show you the difference. Here's Cragmaw, and it's enormously high resolution, right? Which is pretty great. So we're going to add that here too, Cragmaw 1. And if you open this, show in folder. So you're not going to see my folders, but Cragmaw is 800K. And full res version of Cragmaw is 1700K. And the way you change it is, so this is the full res version. You go at the end, you type W equals 2000 or whatever resolution you want and hit go. And that lowers the resolution on the fly. That way you can have a smaller resolution version if it's too big. It turns out though that the original version is only 1.7 megabytes. So, and that is within Notion's, limit. So I'm going to put it in. 7 spires, Lido Skulls Manor / image. So I'm going to put the full res version up because I can, because it'll let me. The only time you wouldn't want to do that is if the size is going to be so big that Notion won't accept it, because it has a 5 megabyte limit, I think. So now I've got that. Okay, cool. So now I have a new image. Look at that. 7 spires, Middle Dura. So you can see how creating a new image. And the great thing is, like, look at all the locations I've got, right? I got lots of locations. And I can then reference them in my notes, and I can go and look at them, and I can modify them. You can also see that I've been putting in a lot of stuff for locations that exist in the Mournlands. I've been adding that stuff in as I've been thinking about what are they going to do when they get to the Mournlands. We'll talk about that probably in another episode of this as we get closer to that. So now, now I should have a 7 spires. Bang. So I have all my fantastic locations here, and each of these are clickable now, and I can just go right to it, and I can see a map of the place, and I know what's there. I can go Cafe Obscura. I've got a map of that. Right, this is what their place looks like. I think it might be pretty close to the one that's in that other one. I can say the Middle Dura City streets, pick which one of these maps I wanted. It's like, I think I could probably fit that in here and have this be the streets outside. I think that might be possible. We'll see. I don't know. And then we have the Valtolito Skull. NPCs. So the step here is review the NPCs. So I've kind of reviewed, like, who are the NPCs going to be? So I know that we have Valentine. I can sort of list them here, right? I know that I have Cavella. I know that I have Lido. Are there any other? Lord Crash. Triss. So yeah, I've got a bunch of NPCs. I don't really need to review those very much. I'm going to delete that line just so I have my NPCs listed. So it's just handy to kind of keep the links. And then monsters. So here's going to be an interesting one. So the question here is like, who is with Cavella? So when they go down to meet with Cavella, we have armored ogres, right? She has a couple of armored ogre bodyguards, probably, at least a couple of them. She's there with Amy, and Amy's got invisible stalkers, her guardians. So there's a couple of those. We have the mimic, Simon. I think Simon is actually in the list. Simon the mimic. Who else does she have down there? She's an Oni. Might as well mention that we got an Oni. Whoops. Does she have anybody else with her? Is that enough? Like, it doesn't have to be enough to take on the party. It's like, who are her bodyguards? So she has her, I think two invisible stalkers, because they're tough. The ogres, maybe 3 ogres. She probably has 3 armored ogres, right? 2 invisible stalkers. Amy herself. And what is Amy? Is she an assassin? She's probably an assassin. I think that's easiest. She's probably like a changeling assassin. So that's, I'm going to put a little subheader for this. Cavella's minions, right? And then we have the assault. The assault on Cafe Obscura. Evil John says, "Got to head out for the live game. Enjoy." Yeah, I've got a live game, so I'm playing my game noon to 3, and then I'm running my game noon to 3, and then at 7 I've got a Icewind Dale game. It's fun. I'm enjoying Icewind Dale. I haven't talked about that. I have to talk about how I feel about the thing. In short, I'm happy because it looks cool. It's got it's different than the Legacy of the Crystal Shard, but because I ran Legacy of the Crystal Shard, I know I've got some better experience with Icewind Dale. I'm a huge fan of the thing. I think that's great. I don't know if my players are going to be all up for another like dark horror game. I kind of I guess it's nice that we are playing Eberron, and Eberron is sort of like a high fantasy thing. So this isn't all dark and dismal, and then we go straight from Eberron into like the frozen wastes, which I think could be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Real tonal shift in this book. Yeah, walruses aren't the only woke thing in the book, I think. So Assault on Cafe Obscura. So we have a bullet. We have a troll riding on the bullet, armored troll riding the bullet. We have 2 dozen jackalwares. We have a lamia. We have Tarkanon. So there's guys. Let's take a look at this. Tarkanon with an A. Tarkanon assassins, right? So these guys are CR2. So we probably have 4 Tarkanon assassins. Probably sounds right. And their goal, they've been hired specifically to get the book. Tarkanon assassins. So that's a huge battle. Like this is a big what did I just do? This is a huge multi-phase battle. You got armored troll riding on a bullet. Trolls are like CR5, so 2 of them is probably too tough. Yeah, they're pretty big, and this one's going to be armored, so it's going to have like an AC of 18. And it's going to be able to claw. It's going to have a huge axe, and it's going to claw. Yeah, he's not your problem. Says, oh, look, another wasteland looking at you, Avernus. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not running Descent into Avernus and going straight from that into Icewind Dale, because I think that could be too much like isolation and, wasteland. One's a frozen wasteland, one's a hellscape, but they're both pretty nasty. And how come we can't have nice things, in between? In fairness, it's not like we don't have Ravnica and Eberron and now Theros. So we have some other places, but did somebody say it's going to crash through the wall? No, it's coming up through the floor. So the bullet is going to come burrowing, boom, smash up through their basements. And the ogre, the troll is like the troll is the chaos weapon, right? You're going to have like, on the outside, you're going to have a whole bunch of different Jackalwares that are coming in. You're going to have Valentine who's coming in behind them. You're going to have the Tarkanon assassins who are hanging out nearby. Their job is to, if Valentine cannot acquire the tome, then you're going to have the Tarkanon assassins try to acquire it. And then and their goal is to get the tome and get out, right? They're not, it's not to kill the party. And the party's goal is to defend themselves and either get away or, blow them up or something. So we'll see. It's going to be a big, nasty fight, and we'll see how the characters do. But gloves are off, as you can see, because look, it's, how many dudes are we talking about? A lot. 24 Jackalwares, 4 assassins. This is not for funsies. Should we see how bad an encounter this is if we use the encounter builder? And then you can see wow, Sly Flourish, he's a monster. He did a battle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's already deadly. Except they're not 3rd level. So I can change this. Manage characters. We will go with the Sunday D&D campaign. Hey, look. So that's 5. There's actually a 6th one, and they're 6th level. So they're fine. 6th level, they can handle anything. We have Troll. We don't have a... it's hard. We have Bullet. Go away, screen. Bullet. Oh, now we're deadly. And I haven't gotten to Jackalwares yet. Add a Jackalware. And I haven't added the Lamia yet. So we have 24 Jackalwares. And we have a Lamia. So the deadly experience budget is 8,100 experience points. My daily budget is actually 23,500 experience points. So, I'm being a monster. Now, I'm doing it in phases, and they have a different goal and stuff like that. So, we'll see. So A. Josser says, did Mike set up the template in Notion, or is that a template from the website? I set it up, and let me give it to you. So I can go here. I have a lazy campaign template, and I can copy the link to that. And there you go. So you click that link, and let's see what that does. That should take you to this template. And then what I suggest you do is duplicate it. So what I would suggest you do is go through it and modify it to suit the thing that works for you, and then duplicate it and save your own template aside that you can then do for every campaign, and you can make a different campaign. I'll give an example, which is here, for example, is my Descent into Avernus one. I love to change the art, by the way, to make the art fit. I think it's important to bring art into our souls, right, while we're thinking about a campaign. So I have all different art. We have the character database with the characters from my Descent into Avernus game. We have the NPCs for Descent into Avernus. And you can see I have new header art for each one. We have locations. So another, not to sell too heavily on the Patreon, but patron backers get access to all of these. So patron backers have have read access to all of my notebooks here, including Descent into Avernus, Eberron, all of them. But the template is available to everybody. You don't have to be a backer. So yeah. So here's my. I don't think I'm sharing this one, but I should. This is my one-on-one game with my wife and her characters. So yeah, that's kind of a fun thing. Whoops. Yeah. So, Queso. Queso is that's my wife's bard sidekick, is a bard named Queso. So that's going to be that big ass fight. And we know that it's way high on deadly. But they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Treasure. Some bracelets of armor for the Lamia might not be so bad, right? Can they boost up a monster? You get +2 bonus AC if wearing no armor and using no shield, and she is not. So that will increase her AC. I think that'll be good. She is wearing that. If they happen to kill her, they'll get those. Any relics? It never hurts to throw a relic in there. Let's take a look at a relic. Go to links, and we'll go to my relics, and we'll order by level range. And there's 6, so we'll go down into the mid-range here. An oily elven quill that casts Dispel Magic. So Dispel Magic's not bad. And having somebody that's got a Dispel Magic item is pretty cool. A quill? Yeah, sure. Why not? Caster level 6, cast at level 3. That's not a bad one. So somebody, maybe one of the Tarkanon guys has that. Something like that could exist. What if it's like the arrow in Guardians of the Galaxy? Yeah, I kind of like the idea of like the quill, and it sort of writes the glyph in, and the ink on the quill disappears and it eats away a spell. It'd kind of be a neat thing. So I think we're good there. So I've got some treasure. So how do I feel? I always like to, after I've done my prep, I like to think about how I feel, and I feel pretty good. I think that like having the action just start to roll off will be really cool. I think that there's a couple of locations I wouldn't mind having in my back pocket, which is where is it's one big question, I guess, which is where is Lord Crash going to plant his bomb? He's got an Eberron crystal bomb and some crazy cultists that are going to detonate it. Where is he going to plant it? And I don't know. I need to figure that out. So that to me is like a last question. I'll put that up. Where is Lord going to plant bomb? If anybody in chat has an idea of like where's a good, interesting kind of big landmark where a Emerald Claw terrorist group would blow something up. They probably want a lot of casualties because they want to raise them from the dead. So it would be a location inside Sharn, right? He's blowing something up inside Sharn. And like probably at one of the bigger markets, right? So if we go here, let's go to my sources, source books, Eberron. We go to Sharn, Wards of Sharn. So Skyway would probably be an upper city location. and with like a plan to sort of like drop the ambassador towers. Probably not. So probably not the central tower. Upper Dura. They probably want to make a bigger splash than that. The garrison, the high water, the residential district, and seat of House Fidelis. Hope's Peak. Hope's Peak wouldn't be bad, right? Because the idea is like they already blew up. Fallen was the previous one. So what if they're going to... So I think he's going to blow up a temple in Hope's Peak. And it probably includes... so let's go back to our Notion here. And we'll close that up. And we're going to add that to a secret, right? We'll just make a secret. Plans to blow up Hope's Peak. And the idea is he's going to just shatter Fallen again, right? That like Fallen is the previous temple district that was destroyed when a tower was collapsed upon it. And I think Lord Crash plans on doing the same thing with another tower district. Like, we're going to do it again. You're never going to be safe. And so one of the temples there would be pretty good. So it could be a Cathedral of the Seven would be pretty good. He plans to blow up the Cathedral of the Seven in Hope's Peak, and he's actually in the I think he's going to burrow in the catacombs beneath. So we have another sort of vault, right? So what are the vaults? Let's go look for maps. So beneath the Church of the Seven, the Cathedral of the Seven, would be a what would you have underneath it? Like they would have their basements, and like I guess sort of their study rooms and some other things, and maybe there's like a pillar in the center. If they blow the pillar up, it'll not only will it collapse, it'll sort of suck all the energy out of it. So their plan is to detonate this Eberron crystal, and it will pull all the energy out of it and essentially break its connection to the plane, whatever their version of the plane of air is, and that whole section will collapse down, and it'll destroy the district and the district below it. But they need to plant it in the cellars below. And I need a map for this, for these cellars. So I've used that one already, I think. This one might not be bad. I think I had planned on using this for something. So yeah, this looks good. I like it. All right, let's save that. And the cellars of the Cathedral of the Seven, right? So we'll go back here, and we will go to think, and we'll go to locations and new. Is there a fancy church name for cellars? The Undercroft. Thank you. What a great word. Perfect. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I don't know how anybody does game prep without 45 people hanging out with you. Giving you ideas. Damn your fast fingers. So there's the Undercroft. Perfect. That's a good idea. So I'm actually, so here's the funny thing. I'm actually prepping next game. So we're gonna stop there. We'll do because they're not going to get to this next session or this session. There's no way. So I think we're good. So I think we will end there. So I want to thank everybody for coming today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Good times ahead. Fun stuff. And I'll be back online next Sunday when we talk about how things went and how things, where we're going to go from there. So have a great week and hopefully get out there and enjoy some D&D. Talk to you guys later.